here with Snyderman's Music, and today I'm going to show you how to change the strings on your guitar. But before we get started, I'd like to give a shout out to D'Addario strings. D'Addario strings are awesome. They sound great, and they seem to last a lot longer than the other brands I've tried. So D'Addario sent me one of their beta sample testers for free to test out and let them know how they sound. So I thought we would make a little snippet of video and show you how to put them on. With these new strings, D'Addario says in here that they're 30% stronger than any of its predecessors, settles to pitch faster, and holds pitch better, with wound strings boasting more output and plain steel strings that aren't so plain. So we'll check them out. I don't know if we probably won't hear a difference, and we probably won't see a difference for a while until we play them for a little while, see how much stronger they are. But we'll show you how to put them on, and we'll give a little sound sample at the end. And we're going to show you, I got a couple other sets of strings, or at least one. We're going to show you how to put strings on 3 different types of tuning machines. So check out your guitar, see which kind it has. We'll take a closer look at those, and then hopefully one of these 3 should cover what kind of tuning machines you have on your guitar. So we're going to jump over, take a look at some of the tools that you might need to use to get this job done. Alright? Okay, so before we take a look at the tools, I thought I would go ahead and quickly show you what I mean by the differences in the machine heads. So the first guitar we're going to look at, if I can get in here close enough, the strings, you stick the end of the strings in that hole right there, kind of bend it around and then start tuning. So it has that hole on the top. And then another kind, there's no hole in the top of that post. The holes are they're in the side of the post. So you stick the string through the center of the post and then kind of bend it and then start tuning so it stays there. Some people do a tie off on that, and I always thought that was kind of a pain in the butt, but they say it keeps them in tune a little better, but we're not going to go over that today, but you can find videos online on how to do that. And then the third set, we'll show you, they go through, like they have the hole like the last one inside of the post, but you don't have to tune anything because they're locking. So you just pull the string through. They have these lockers on the back, so you just lock them up, cut them, and tune them up. You don't have to do a bunch of twisting. These are the best. They stay in tune the longest. So, but we'll show you how to do. We'll show you how to do these kind, and we'll show you how to do these kind. Unfortunately, I got the wrong gauge strings for these, so we're not going to be able to show you that. But it's pretty much the same idea. You just pull them through the center, and the only difference with these than these is you're not going to want to cut the string before you start going. You're going to want to let the slack hang out, and you'll see what I mean when we get going. Alright, we'll take a look at the tools you'll need now. So some of the things you might want and or need to change your strings on your guitar, depending on the surface area you have. If you're doing it on something hard, you might want to lay a shirt down here, and you may want a thicker shirt of some sort at the end, and you'll set your headstock on that so you don't snap your headstock in the end. And you're going to want your strings, obviously. So here's the new D'Addario strings. Should be out soon. And then you're going to want a tuner to make life easier. You're going to want the cable to connect the tuner to your guitar. You're definitely going to want some sort of snips, some clippers, needle nose pliers, so you can cut the strings. so you don't have a bunch of strings hanging off unless you think that looks cool. Then you keep that. If you want, you can use one of these little doohickey tools to make the process a little faster. They can be kind of annoying. This is kind of a cheap one, so sometimes I don't even bother. So you can always not use one of these. Use your hands. Okay, so to get started, we're going to take the strap off here, just so it's not in our way, being a nuisance. We're going to take the tremolo arm off here, so that's not in the way, being a nuisance. Let's try and make life easier. Come on. And with this guitar, see if we can get a good look in there. The strings are going to go through that end, and you're going to pull them through all the way down. You're going to snip them, stick them in those holes, and tune them up. So we'll show you close-ups on those. And I should say, in the beginning, if you're just getting used to this, I would stick with doing one string at a time rather than taking them all off all at once and then putting everything else back on, especially if you have any sort of floating tremolo arm, like if you have a Strat or something, everything's just going to kind of fall in. These not too bad, anything string through, not a big deal, but it's just easier in the beginning, keeps everything kind of tight as you're working along. So I would take this one off, then put the new one on, then take the next one off, put the new one on, and so on until you're done. Tuning them up all the time, keeping it all tight how it should be. Alright. Another thing you might want to do, I was just thinking of, is when you're new to this, to get comfortable with it. Oops, sorry. Jeez. The packs of strings are going to tell you what color the ball. Hopefully, if you get these kinds of strings, some of them are all the same color. They're all brass or something, bronze or something. But if you get these kinds of strings, you're going to see that they'll tell you what color. Purple is your B string, and green is your G string, and so on. And so what you might want to do, just so you don't goof anything up, come on, is you open these up here and just kind of lay them out in the order that you're gonna do this in. So you're looking at your strings, and you're gonna change your, let's get this in here, you're gonna change your low E first. So grab the set with your low E. So low E is brass and the A is red. So here you got brass, red, lay them out. The next set would be black and green. So you lay out, take the black and green and lay them out, and then this is what you have left. So there you go. So as you're going through, you're not grabbing these and putting them on where you should be putting these, and that can cause some trouble if you clip the strings too soon. So that's just a little pointer there. Okay, so first you're gonna take the string off. So just tune it down till it gets all loose. One thing you want to do, I don't know if you can see this, is you're going to be left with this little bit here that's all goofed up. If you take your snips and snip it off, then when you go to pull the string through the other end, it's not going to give you any issues. Go ahead and pull that one through. that. Okay. Okay, so our low E string is the brass one, so we're gonna get that one separated. Set the red one aside. You have your end with the ball. You're gonna take the end that doesn't have the ball, and we're gonna slide that through the hole down here. So we're gonna go in, find the hole, grab it, pull it through, all the way through, get it nice and tight, push it up in there, and then set it on the saddle here, right? And then you pull it up, and then we'll show you what we're doing on the other end. Okay? Okay, so on the other end here, you have all this slack. I don't know if you can see this, but the string just keeps going and going and going. We're going to stick it in this tuning machine here. So my rule of thumb is, whichever tuning machine you're going into, go up to and cut there with just with these ones where you stick it in the hole there, not for the one that goes through the center of the post. You're going to want to leave that. With those ones, what you want to do is you'll come up and you'll stick the string all the way through to the same length, and you'll give it a little bend and then start tuning it. And then when you're done, whatever you're left with, you can snip off. But so with these ones, we're going to go up 2 and we're going to cut it. This way you're not left with a whole bunch of string, and you're not tuning forever and ever and ever to get them in. So you make sure you're tight at the other end, come in, and then there's a little groove here. Just kind of bend it in and start tuning it up. And with these, we're going to go counterclockwise so that all the strings come up on the same side and wrap around from the right. Just tune it up. And this is where you could grab this guy and do one of these. And while you're doing all this too, you want to remember to keep the string tight up here while you're doing all this. Now I made it too tight. Make sure it's sitting in the saddle up at the top. Make sure you're keeping it tight. Maybe pull up on it, you know, until you get it going. And then you're going to plug in your tuner. And if you can see, you just, oh, we're not on. We'll just tune it up. We're pretty good. And then we'll go on to the next string. Okay. Okay, so now we'll just kind of cruise through a couple more of them, show you just the general layout here. Okay. Some snipping. Pull it through. Get rid of it. Find the new red one. Red. Going on here. Grab it. See you through. Pull it all the way through. Pull it tight. Set it in the saddle. Come down here. We're in the second tuning peg now, so we're going to count up 2. Grab our pliers, snip it. Stick it in the hole, give it a little bend over the side, and tune it up. keeping it tight back here with my right hand, making sure that it's still sitting in the saddle on the other end. Tune it up to A. Make sure my E is still E, looks good. And then move on to the next one. Alright, let's see if we can't get a real good close-up for you. So we've pulled the D string all the way through, and we're going in here, and we want to go 2 up and cut. Take the end here, stick it in there, bend it down, and start tuning, and it'll catch if you keep it down. And after you make a few turns, you can kind of pull this back into its slot on the nut to keep it lined up good. And then you can start zooming through until it gets up to pitch. Now we're on to our G string. Unwind that. Make the snip. And then pull it through. Pull it through the other side. Get rid of that. Grab our nice new green guy. Take the end without the ball on it. Come in. Grab it on the other side and pull it all the way through. Make sure it's setting in the saddle, and then come back up and finish it off. Okay, so you get to the B string, and we're going in here, but we've run out of pegs, so just go to the top of the headstock, snip it there, and then for your last one, just kind of eyeball what 2 out would be and snip it there. You probably won't have to snip too much off for that. So we'll bring it up here, snip, put it in there. The reason I'm still showing you what's going on, because you're probably like, dude, they're all the same. Why you keep showing me this stuff? Is because on the B and high E string on this particular guitar, you have a string tree, and that keeps the string at the correct angle down to hit up this tuning machine here. So you stick the string underneath there, and then line it up with your nut and your bridge saddle back there, and tune her up. Sorry, one more thing to think about. So once you get the string relatively tight and you start tuning up, especially with these thinner high strings, you're probably gonna pass the note a few times, at least once, but just make sure that you're kind of keeping an eye on, you're not going really too tight, because you can pop the string, break it if you go too tight. Obviously, if you just keep turning and turning this thing beyond its point, the string will break, and you'll have to get a new string and start over. So once you got them all tuned up, everything's nice, you go through, grab each string, and just kind of pull it up. Grab a couple fingers underneath it, come up, pull up on it, stretch it out, because the strings, they're going to have to stretch out a little bit. They'll keep going out of tune, but if you run up and down, pull them a little bit. See, we went down a half step there. Bring it back up. That'll help for keeping it in tune once you start playing it. So you just go through each one, pull on the string, stretch it out, tune it back up, and just continue the process. Okay, moving on to the locking tuners. Now, on these, I've just come to realize that I tried out these balanced tension strings a little bit back, and they're awesome. And I don't really know how to explain it. Crazy math formulas that make them more balanced, I guess. But the cool thing is you can tell a difference. With the regular strings, each individual string feels a little different than the last one. Each one feels a little looser or tighter, depending on which way you look at it. And with these, they all feel the same. So your highest string feels just as bendable and everything else as your high E, and vice versa. So I guess it just keeps the tension the same across the board, which is awesome. Check them out, give them a try, and after a few weeks, I think you'll like them once you get used to them. Pretty cool. Okay, let's get started. So with this kind of guitar Strat or anything that runs through, you can't just pull them out the top. They run through the back. So each string you're gonna have to flip it over, and they're gonna come out of those holes there. And that is where you take your new string and you're going to go through the front and it comes out the other side here and pull it through. If I move you real quick, so then you take this, slide it in there like so. Make sure it's tight, it's all the way through and the back. Pull it snug, come underneath. I guess this doesn't really look that good. Come underneath and tighten this guy up as tight as you can. And now your string's just kind of hanging out there. It can't go anywhere. It's all locked up. Then you can snip it and tune it up. Much easier. Stays in tune much better. These are totally awesome. Totally worth the funding. Alright. Just finish this one up. And that's it. The only thing different with these guys too, though, is if you change the gauge strings, or you try out the balanced tension strings or something like that where the strings are different, because this is a floating tremolo here, you're gonna have to adjust these screws, tighter or looser depending on what you change, so that this stays where you want it to be. Because this will go all out of whack if you don't do that. Alright, I hope this helps you out. Alright, we are done and we are in tune. And just one quick thing I wanted to show you, that on the Strat here with the locking tuners, something kind of neat is that they're called staggered locking tuners. So if you look at them, if you can see in this video, for the higher strings, like the high E is much lower than the low E. You see how they drop down there? And that is to avoid having to have a string tree, so it keeps the angle on those correct. And I believe that is something that was created, I think, when they were coming up with the Eric Johnson Strat. So, but it's kind of a neat thing. Just thought I'd show you. Alright.